The first time I realized my own mother had betrayed me was when my phone buzzed at 6:12 a.m. A single text message from a friend I hadn't spoken to in months. "Bro, why is your penthouse listed online for $2.3 million?" I laughed, out loud, half asleep, standing barefoot on Italian marble floors, looking out over a skyline I worked 15 years to earn. Then I opened the link, and everything I thought I knew about family shattered in seconds. The listing was real. My address, my photos, my floor plan, even the private elevator access I never told anyone about. And the seller name? My mother, on Zillow. I felt my chest tighten. Not confusion, not shock. Fear, the kind that crawls under your skin when something sacred is violated. I whispered, "No, no, no." But the more I scrolled, the worse it got. She hadn't just listed it. She'd already accepted an offer. Let me rewind. Because to understand this betrayal, you need to understand the lie my mother lived her entire life. I grew up poor, not we skipped dessert poor. I mean eviction notices taped to doors, power shut off mid-dinner. Hearing my mother cry quietly at night because rent was late again. She raised me alone, or at least, that's what she told everyone. She worked hard, too hard, and she drilled one thing into my head from childhood. Family comes before everything. She said it when she borrowed money. She said it when she guilted relatives. She said it when she asked for favors she never returned. I believed her, because she was my mom. I worked my way out. Scholarships, 3 jobs, no sleep, no parties. By 32, I was a senior developer at a fintech firm. By 35, I bought my dream. A glass-walled penthouse overlooking the city. Cash, no mortgage. I remember the closing day. The agent smiled and said, "Congratulations, you're officially untouchable." I smiled back. I thought he meant financially. I was wrong. I never told my mother the full details. I made that mistake once before. Years earlier, when I bought my first condo, she started dropping by with strangers, investors, friends, people who just want to see how successful my son is. After that, I learned, so I told her I lived in a nice place. Nothing more, or so I thought. 2 weeks before the listing went live, my mother called me crying, actual sobbing. "I'm going to lose my house," she said. Her voice cracked. I froze. "What happened?" "I co-signed for someone," she whispered. "They stopped paying. The bank is coming after me." I felt that old guilt rise up, the one she trained into me. "How much?" I asked. There was a pause. Then she said, "Just help me with paperwork. That's all." I should have hung up. Instead, I invited her over. She walked into my penthouse like she owned it, ran her fingers over countertops, peeked into closets, stood by the window too long. "You live?" "Very well," she said. I nodded. She smiled, not proud, calculating. She stayed for 3 hours, asked questions that felt innocent. "Is this building expensive? Do a lot of people sell here? Who handles the legal stuff?" I answered vaguely, too vaguely, because she already knew more than I realized. Fast forward, back to the listing. I called her immediately, straight to voicemail. Again, voicemail. I texted, nothing. That's when I called the listing agent. A cheerful woman answered. "Hi, are you calling about the penthouse on—" "That's my property," I said flatly. Silence. Then, "Excuse me?" "That listing is fraudulent," I said. "I never authorized it." She hesitated. "Well, the seller provided a power of attorney." My blood went cold. "What power of attorney?" She emailed it to me, and there it was. My name, my signature, not mine, but close. Too close. My mother had forged my identity. I hung up and sat down, hands shaking, heart racing. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was criminal. 30 minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "My son," my mother said sweetly. "Why are you panicking?" I stood up so fast my chair fell over. "You forged my signature," I said. "You listed my home." She sighed. "As if it isn't basically mine," she replied. That sentence, it changed something inside me. "What did you just say?" "I raised you," she snapped. "Everything you have exists because of me." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You committed fraud," I said. She lowered her voice. "You'll ruin me if you make this a problem." Then she said the words I'll never forget. "I already spent the deposit." I called my lawyer, then the police, Then the title company handling the sale. That's when the real twist hit. The buyer wasn't just any buyer. It was an LLC, registered 3 days earlier. With one manager, my mother, she planned to sell my penthouse to herself, then flip it. Clean. Legal. Gone. The title company flagged inconsistencies, the forged documents, the rushed timeline. The power of attorney filed suspiciously fast. They froze the transaction and alerted authorities. That's when my mother panicked. She showed up at my door unannounced, eyes wild, makeup smeared, hands shaking. "You did this," she hissed. "No," I said calmly. "You did." She cried, begged, threatened. "You owe me. I gave you life. You can't do this to your own mother." I didn't raise my voice. I just said one thing: get out. She was arrested 2 days later. Forgery, identity theft, attempted grand fraud. Family didn't protect her. Friends vanished. And suddenly, I was the villain in her story. But the story wasn't over, because she had one last card to play. From jail, she filed a civil claim against me, claiming the penthouse was promised to her verbally, that she was entitled. I smiled when my lawyer read it, because we had evidence, years of messages, her admitting she had no claim, her admitting the forgery, even a voice memo where she laughed and said, "He'll never turn me in." Court was brutal. She stared at me like I was a stranger. The judge didn't blink. When the verdict came, her case was dismissed. Mine proceeded. She was sentenced. Probation, fines, a permanent criminal record, and a restraining order. I stood in my penthouse that night, city lights glowing, silence everywhere, and for the first time, I felt free. Family doesn't mean immunity. Love doesn't excuse theft, and blood doesn't justify betrayal. Because sometimes, the person who would destroy you the fastest is the one who raised you, and sometimes, the strongest revenge is choosing truth over guilt and walking away for good.